Hi everyone, this is John Michael, and right now we are looking into my native bucket. If you have followed along, I was supposed to actually get rid of the minnows and the sticklebacks a few a few days ago, or actually last weekend, but I actually never did it. First of all, I'm just too lazy to do that, and second of all, I just grow so attached to those minnows. So those four smaller minnows are actually the original ones. So at one point, I had more or less than 12 minnows, but then one of them died, and I decided to greatly reduce the number of minnows. But I kept the four smaller one and the bigger one. And the four smaller one, I have them for a pretty long time now, and they are doing really fine. So I believe they're creek chub, but I'm not sure. And they're in this bucket for a few weeks now, and they are really doing fine. And they are living with stickleback. At one point, I had two buckets, one for the minnows and one for the sticklebacks. But I then add two frogs, and I had to transform this bucket into the peludarium again. So I had to put all the sticklebacks with the minnows, and I was really surprised how the minnows react to the sticklebacks. They actually bullied the sticklebacks. Minnows aren't fin nippers, and I was really surprised to see them attack the stickleback. They were actually pushing them around from the really first moment I put them, and I lost 3 sticklebacks. So the really big one, the 3-spine stickleback, and then 2 others. But now I think I still have 3 sticklebacks, and the sticklebacks are those smaller fish that swim like a puffer fish, and they actually have some spine on their backs. In my past experience, sticklebacks were actually the aggressive fish of the tank. So at one point, my 10-gallon had still the purpose of holding some fish, and at one point I had 2 sticklebacks living in there with a small group of small minnows, and the minnows were constantly harassed by one of the 2 stickleback, and even the other stickleback was totally attacked and in a rough shape due to the aggressivity of the dominant stickleback. But in this tank, the table have turned around, and the minnows, which were established longer in this bucket, really claimed this bucket as their territory, and they are really the boss. This one is really dominating everyone with his sheer size. The other small minnow, so this one is the alpha of the 3 others. And really the 4 smaller minnows are really aggressive eaters. When I put a worm in there, they really jumped and attacked it. Also, I want to point out the duckweed I have in there. At the beginning, when I first noticed I had duckweed, it was that size. And now, as you can see, it has split in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little segments. And each day there is more leaves to it. So at one point, I really will have to check that out. Really interesting, really helping me a lot with the water. And I also have some real plant in there. Which one of the sticklebacks really enjoy it. So a few days ago, not yesterday but 2 days ago, I put one of the grasshoppers in the native bucket because one of the grasshoppers was really feeling weird, and sometimes when an insect die in one of my project, I just decide to feed him to the minnows. I mean, it is pretty much natural. Minnows are hunters but also scavengers, so I don't see anything wrong with that. But I introduced a grasshopper, locust, sorry, so one of those little fellow, and that locust had some really parasite worm in his belly, and I only realized that when it was too late, and the all the minnows actually eat, and also the stickleback, they all eat some of the parasitic worms alongside with the body of the locust. So now all of those fish are in quarantine. I really don't want to release them back into the wild and see them all die, but I will have to release them pretty much not this week, not the next week, but the week after that. They will have to go in their natural habitat since I'm going in vacation and I won't be able to take care of them. But yeah, after I come back from the vacation, I will be able to catch more minnows to enjoy for the rest of the summer. Oh, my queen ant is having some struggle in the little body of water there. Going to have to end up the video real soon and take care of that because one of my leaf-footed bug pretty much drowned in this little body of water, and well, right now I'm looking if it is still alive or not. Probably, I would say. But yeah, the minnows and the sticklebacks are really interesting. Sorry about the glare of this video. I thought putting the bucket on my little milk cage that served me as a seat would help with the glare, but it didn't. I mean, there is all this big section. But yeah, so we have 8 fish in there, but they're really soon going to have to go. And really, I believe it was DPK that suggested me to oh, okay, the ant have survived. She's right there. Oh. And she's like, oh, I'm mad now. But yeah, the secret to have a successful native bucket without any filtration system and anything is first live plants. Live plants really help the filtration a lot. So this is why I have duckweed, and I'm really happy to have it, and also this plant, both helping a lot. The second really good thing about the native bucket is where it is placed. So it is sitting. Oh, this is a used Scott towel that I used to clean the glass when it's all dirty and stuff. I will have to pick that out. But yeah, as you can see, the native bucket, first of all, doesn't receive a lot of light. The laboratory only receive the dying sun, so now the sun is now slowly, well, the day is coming to an end, so this laboratory only gets a few hours of sun, and it is not when the sun is at its strongest. So there is a lot of shade, and especially with all of these buckets blocking all the the light. There is only enough light for algae to grow and for the plants to grow, but the water remain really cold. Another one of my secret is the rocks. So some of them are really porous, and just the strategic way I put them, even if there isn't filtration, sort of speak, I'm pretty sure there is some good bacteria in there, because there is a lot of zone of shade, and the movement of the fish themselves must create at least a little bit of current, which encourage oxygen exchange, and the wind also hit a little bit the water. So there is really a lot of natural thing happening, natural gas exchange happening in there. But really the best secret to keep a native bucket successfully is the amount of fish you put in the native bucket, and for the amount of time also. I mean, my native bucket is only active during the summer, so for a few months, and really I don't put a lot of fish. Right now I presume this is overstock, but now the population has really calmed itself. I didn't have any loss of fish for quite a while. I only lost 4 fish this summer, and this is because I knew exactly how many I could keep. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you real soon. Bye.